up to 11 feet across.
As I was saying, the crabs most commonly found in our waters include the red rock, the Dungeness, Puget Sound king crab, and the hermit crab. Now, the crab that John has for us today is the Dungeness crab. Now, all the crabs we have here in the tank are the same variety. Now, as you can see here, the crab's front two legs have developed into powerful pinchers used for feeding and defense. In addition to this, the crab has also developed the ability to shed and regenerate their limbs, often giving up a leg to a dangerous predator with hopes they will leave the rest of them alone.
Another group of creatures capable of regeneration are the sea stars. In fact, in some cases, should the animal be cut into 2 or more pieces, a corresponding number of complete and separate animals will eventually develop. Relying on a remarkable system of hydraulics for locomotion and a single photosensitive cell on the tip of each arm or site, the sea stars appear as truly otherworldly beings. As successful predators which have adapted to life in the deepest abyss or the shallowest shoreline, the sea stars prey on shellfish, sponges, anemones, fish, and other sea stars.
That's so crazy.
Now, we have many varieties of sea stars here in the aquariums, including some that you can find in the touch and feel pond. I recommend doing it after the show. Now, since the octopus came out and played, he snagged that and brought it to the front for us. Now, this is actually the giant Pacific octopus, which happens to be the largest species of octopus in the entire world. That was one of our male specimens. Looks like John's going to be bringing it back to the front for us. Now, I'm sure everyone knows here, octopi do have 8 arms. Now, on each arm, there's about 200 suction cups, each of which can be manipulated independently. The little fact is that every suction cup on the octopi can be used as a tongue. So really, they have 1,600 tongues. So they have a quite remarkable sense of taste. Now, they use this taste to eat their favorite food, which is crab. That was that first segue there. Now, they eat about 3 crabs a night here at the aquariums. So when they spot a particularly delicious-looking crab, what they do is umbrella down over top of it and crack through the hard shell with a razor-sharp beak, which is located at the center of the tentacles. Now, they inject toxin into the... right there, he's right there. So what they do is actually inject a toxin into the crab meat, which liquefies it, turning it essentially into a liquid smoothie for the octopus to slurp back up. Now, as you see here, the natural color of the octopus is this dark red color. However, due to the fact that they have 3 hearts and the second most advanced central nervous system in the entire world, the octopus can change its skin color and texture extremely fast in order to match its background. Now, this highly evolved sense of camouflage can be used in both hunting and defense. Now, the most common movement for the octopus is simply to undulate the tentacles along the sea floor, kind of what it's doing right now. However, it has a backup means of movement which is called jet propulsion. Now, this is when the octopus fills its mental cavity up with water, then shoots it out behind it, allowing it to reach up to speeds of 20 miles per hour. And that's a very slow form of that right there. Now, the skin of the octopus is covered in a thin layer of slime, which is to help protect it from disease and infection. That's one of the reasons why John's not grabbing onto it and just forcibly bringing it to the front of the tank. He's more ushering it and coaxing it along. John is also wearing specially designed gloves that reduce the amount of slime taken off from handling. So let's just leave the octopus alone for now, and we'll probably come back to the front of the glass so you guys can get a better look at it. And now let's move on to the fish feeding scene. Now, the laws of the jungle also apply to the sea. However, to keep our marine life happy here at the aquariums, we interfere slightly to provide a feeding time. Although difficult to train, John himself has conditioned these fish to respond to the sound of a dinner bell. So, John, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the animals you see around you?
So creepy.
Thanks, John.
Oh, it's an eel.
John's actually going to be bringing out a unique bottom dolly here at the aquariums, which is called the wolf
I
eel.
didn't know that was an eel.
Now, despite the name, the wolf eel is in fact not an eel, but a fish. Now, it's an elongated fish, but a fish nonetheless. And one way you can tell the difference between the two is the fact that eels lack pectoral fins. Otherwise, notice the little fins on the side. Now, it looks like John's grabbed a male for us today. Now, we can tell it's a male for a few reasons. First, the size. As you see here, the male is quite larger with the female, and with a very bulbous head. Now the female is shorter with more of a streamlined shape. Now the second way we can tell is the coloring. Now the male is light gray color, closer to cement gray, while the female is closer to a charcoal gray, charcoal black. However, when they're born, wolf eels are actually bright orange or neon yellow, and then when they fade to this mottled gray black, the adult once they hit sexual maturity. Oh, looks like the male's coming back. Now, despite their ugly, ugly appearance, wolf eels are in fact quite friendly. Think of them as the puppy dogs of the sea. Now, they have about 20 razor-sharp teeth located on both the upper and lower portion of the mouth with a very hard palate. Now, these facts combined allow them to eat hard-shelled animals such as oysters and clams, in addition to their favorite food, which is sea urchins. Now, in the wild, wolf eels can grow anywhere between 6 to 8 feet in length, of course, with the males being larger. Now, a little fact about them is that they mate for life, and they're often encountered by divers with only their faces peering out from a hole in their den that they're sharing with their respective mate. It's quite sweet.
Food crab.
And that actually brings us to our end of our show. Let's give John here a big round of applause.